Alright, so this is just a cheapo DiGiYes cylindrical charger, QI wireless charger, whatever you want to call it. If you listen, it's actually something in there is loose. I'm assuming that's why it's such a shitty charger. But again, the light is on, so we're just going to show you. Sony wireless charger. Nothing. But if I take off this little cover, as long as it'll stay in place. It's like it's trying to. Versus before, it didn't want to at all. So,
You've got mail.
Just going to show you the fact that PowerBot works with this little cover on, so that way you don't say, oh, well, the cover's too thick. That's what it is. And it's charging. Charging, lights on. It actually says wireless charger. Wireless charger. So, you say, okay, well maybe it's just the power bot. Maybe that's what it is, right? Here's a Sony wireless charger. So, nothing's on, it's not charging, there's no trick. Just turn it off, so it's off. Alright, just going to hold it right there. It's on. Place it on top. And it's charging again like magic. So what's the deal with this? Is it that loose noise as to why it doesn't charge? I'm going to take it apart and find out. Alright, so I did notice inside of here little screws. So I'm going to start with that and see what happens. So what I just figured out was this little sticky pad at the top that's supposed to hold this up is not doing its job at all. And the whole thing is actually just kind of barely in there at all. So yeah, looks like a piece actually broke off. Yeah, a little piece right here, just like this side. That's what broke off in it. So that's probably been the whole problem the whole time, why you hear that loose, kind of clunking around. So again, it's another one of these things where be careful what you buy, especially if it's coming from China, when it's really, really cheap, and there's another product that China makes that's actually the expensive name brand version. You probably want to get the name brand version as opposed to this cheap crap that doesn't really work for anything. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Alright, let's glue some stuff together and put it back together and see what happens. Alright, so what my general plan is, I'm just going to super glue just enough to get it to where it'll actually stay adhered, and I'm going to put some heavy duty stuff on over top of it. At least that way I know without a doubt it's going to be stuck in place where I put it. That way I don't have to worry about nothing. And I'm just going to use some Loctite. Probably not the best, but I mean, it works. Alright, so It looks like the super glue kind of melted a little bit, or maybe it was just the what was on top of it. I don't know. But all the places where I did super glue it in, it's got like, it looks almost as if it was burned. But it is solid and it's holding and it's not doing anything else. So I'm just gonna go ahead and actually use some real heavy duty glue to actually hold it in place, as opposed to just kind of securing it in a couple of spots. So I'm gonna try that and see how that works out. And the main reason why I did it like this was I wanted the super glue to really hold it in place, because I'm not going to wait for the full cure for this. It's just going to take forever. So I'm just going to wait long enough for it to secure itself with the super glue, and once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and put everything back together, because I know this glue will be good to go. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. You can do it any way you want. I'm just using super glue to tack it in place, basically, so it stays put, while this does its job to actually secure it in place permanently. But considering how cheap it is, if it doesn't work, I don't really care. It's just something to try and something for everybody else to see. Maybe it'll help fix your stuff. I don't know. Alright, so the lights are on. I screwed in the feet, or the screws, and put on the feet, little rubber feet on there. So before, I had to take off this cheap little cover. It's not real thick, but I had to take it off just to use it. And now it is charging with no issues. So the biggest problem it was is that plate on the inside that sits along this base right here on the other side had become separated, because it was just like a double-sided piece of cheap tape. It wasn't even like 3M, it was just cheapo stuff. So for, I think it was 10 bucks, or no, it was like $8 for this, and I still had to fix it to get it to actually work. It doesn't really add up to me. So I would say no if you ever see this particular product, especially if it's on eBay. It's actually where I got this from. So I would say stay away from it, because they definitely don't stand behind their product at all. And they attempted, as far as the email is concerned, they attempted to send me another one, and they never actually sent me one. So I would say stay away from it unless you just want a charger that's relatively cheap and that you have to fix to get it to work. No jiggling anymore.